Hello, everybody. You know what today is? It is Talk to Me Tuesday. And I am so excited to have an amazing guest with me today. My name is Tandra Price. I am your network ninja. I women and men entrepreneurs use a virtual platform to expand their networking base in a major way to make it profitable. And I do that through creating online communities, workshops, and doing my one-on-one coaching. So today we have a fabulous topic today, and I'm so excited. So I hope you're all following along with me because you want to make sure that you grab your pencil and paper. So remember I told you my word going into 2021 was I'm ready. I am ready. So listen, I hope you're ready because I'm ready because we're going to hear from our amazing guest today, and then we're going to dive into our topic today. So Miss Katrina, please introduce yourself and tell our audience a little bit about you, and then let's dive into our conversation today.
I sure will. Thank you for having me. My name is Katrina Roddy. I am the best-selling author of Steal Your Skills from Corporate. I'm also an entrepreneur coach. I coach mainly women on the transition from employee status to becoming the CEO of their life. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Thank you for being here. I'm just going to make sure. I always have to make sure my devices are working. Good morning, Mrs. Washington, Deborah Washington. Thank you for talking to us. Listen, you know what it is. Today is Talk to Me Tuesday, where we share helpful network tips to help you grow your business. And I'm just going to make sure real quick that all my devices are currently working so I don't miss any comments. Hey, Miss Angela, how are you doing, Miss Lady? Hey, you like my new banner? Hey, let's talk. Isn't that the cute thing? Listen, it's amazing what technology would do. Okay, so today our topic is we're not selling, but we're coaching. Okay, everybody hear that? We're not selling today, but we're coaching. So one of the things that was kind of on my mind, really, I do everything networking. You know me, I'm your networking ninja. And I'm thinking about, we're right now going into the second week of February, and I hope everyone has already grabbed their calendar that I have put out there to help you get kind of organized. It's on our page and the link is there. But as I was thinking about this week, I thought, you know what? We have to make sure that we really make sure that we, maximize this year. We got to make sure we really go in and knock this thing out this year because it is time. But I wanted to say, you know what? How do we do that? How do we do that? Good morning, Stacy. I said, how do we do that? And we have to do that through one of two ways. One of the ways, we have to make sure that we're visible at all times, but we also have to do that through coaching. I got to quit saying ladies because I'm always thinking about my ladies networking. We have to think about coaching. Coaching is a huge caterpillar to our business. Listen. Now I have the queen from, Steal Your Skills from Corporate. So she's going to make sure that, listen, this is her wheelhouse. So she knows exactly where I'm going with and how this plays a part in networking. They always say, if you want to go fast, you go with somebody. If you want to go slow, you go by yourself. But there's no need for you to be going by yourself because there's too many of us experts out here where we can actually take each other along the way and we can move this thing faster. So give me your idea before I dive into my talk about coaching. Tell me your thoughts on coaching. What is your thoughts on coaching?
So I am an Olympic buff. I'm not going to get too much into details about when I cry and all that stuff happens. But I'm always fascinated with outstanding athletes. And so when I look at athletes, I just think about, their upbringing, their willpower, their determination. They have all of that, but they can't get to where they need to go if they don't have a coach. So I coach people the same way I think about athletes. If you want to be the best, you get someone to push you along that path. It could be one coach, two coach, three coaches, but you have to have some type of guidance to get you there. And a lot of that comes from either somebody who's done it before, somebody who knows the techniques, who studied this. This is, their study guide. They know this. Or it comes from just personal experience. And so when you think about coaching, think of it in terms of who are some of your favorite coaches out there in the athletic world? Think about the people that they've coached along the way, and then try to put yourself in their shoes when you're talking to people and you're opening up yourself to, a world of helping people catapult them into a different direction. There's a definitely a great passion in coaching, and I love it.
Yes. You know what? we talked about earlier today, we talked about, we want to be great. We got to have a coach. You know what I'm saying? And we talked about some of, just like you said a minute ago, some of the famous athletes like Serena Williams, Michael Jordan. I mean, all these major celebrity had to have a coach. I mean, they started somewhere. They had to have a coach. So I wrote my notes down. Y'all know I got my pencil and paper at all times.
Yeah.
So listen, coaches really help us to identify and focus on what's important, right? That's really what coaches do. They help us. Like, I have a coach. I'm sure you have a coach. I have a coach and a mentor. And they really help me to focus on what's important, which helps me to really accelerate my success. Okay. Yeah. So I wrote down a few things, and I want to just, we can just chime in. Anybody listen, it's Talk to Me Tuesday, where we share helpful networking tips to help you grow your business. So listen, me and Katrina just don't want to talk. We want you to talk back to us. You see my sign said, let's talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
So make sure that you are talking to us.
This is not a presentation. It's a conversation.
It's just a conversation. So listen, what about, coaches? Do you think they really help us expand our thinking? I can say from my coach, I'm going to answer that question and then I'm going to let you go. But my coach really helps me to explore what I'm thinking. It really helps me to pull it out of my mind up here and help me be able to put it down on paper. Because like you say, I'm always writing. I suggest that everybody takes time to write their thoughts out on a piece of paper every morning. But my coach really helps me, when we talk, she says, okay, what you been writing? And so it's starting to help me think, like, when I know that I'm going to meet with her, that she's wanting to know what I've been thinking about. So it's really pulling out those thoughts. What do you think on that, Katrina?
So I'm going to tell you what happened with me and my personal story with my coach, and then what I do for other people. So for me, I wrote the book. So after I wrote the book, Steal Your Skills from Corporate, and, I talked to my coach about it a lot. And when we were talking about it, every time we would start, I would say, I just have a business book. I wanted to share my business ideas. I want to help people pull their skills. And she's the one who made me realize that the power that I have in helping people goes beyond just a book. She's like, book is a book. Those are words that came out. Those are words that you created. But what you have is the ability to be very, you can keen into a person's personality and help them understand the emotional turmoil that they'll go through transitioning out of corporate. That's what you're doing to help people. You're not just writing words down. What you're helping them do is actually transition and get through that fear of transition. And I never thought of that. I just thought of it as a book. Here are my skills. I wrote down 8 steps for you to follow. But she's like, if you listen to what you're saying, you're helping them transition, and that's an emotional roller coaster for them. So that's one thing that I started. So I listened to that, and it kind of. So then taking that a step further, when I started coaching people now, I could hear exactly what my coach just told me. So I started coaching an individual, and she didn't even want to be on camera. So I would do, Zoom, because we're in the middle of a pandemic. So she's like, I really don't want to be on camera. And the more I talked to her and helped her understand things, and the more comfortable she became with me, I told her, I said, it's fear. I am actually coaching you on fear. Your skills, some of these things that I point out to you, but it's the fear. And when it clicked with her, now at one point she was beating me on camera. I think I have a 12-week program. In like the 4th week, she was like, okay, I'm ready. And it's a mind trigger. So you trigger things that maybe they haven't thought of before, or they could have been thinking but afraid to do. But if they see that you're there with them, then they become more open, and they're more receptive of everything that you have for them.
Ooh, I'm just thinking to myself, everything you just said. Ooh. Listen, so we do woo woo on this show. That's the thing, woo woo. Because we're putting on some good stuff. I mean, you really are. That was like helping them identify their blind spot.
Yeah, it's a blind spot.
That was a blind spot that you helped them identify. They already had everything they needed, but because, listen, audience, because of her coaching skills and her coaching techniques. I mean, she was able to help bring out the blind spots to say, you already have what you need. You already have it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Listen, now she's beating her to the punch because now she realized by having a coach, but if she did not have that coach or someone to help guide her along, she would have still been, her blind spots would have still been hidden.
Yeah. If you think about India.Arie, when she has her song, Strength, Courage, and Wisdom, it's been inside of you all along. And that's all I think about when I coach people. I'm like, it's in you. Let me help bring it out. And that's what coaching does. And that's why I started off with talking about athletes. They have something. Let me bring it out. Let me help you bring it out.
Yes. Yes. So that's again why this topic is so important about coaching, because coaching helps you figure out, it helps you get out of your comfort zone. It helps you identify your blind spots. It helps you get clear about your goals. Everything Miss Katrina said, that's what she did. She helped to identify her blind spot. She helped to get out of her comfort zone, and she helped her to get clear about where she was going and what she was trying to do. So, and here, well, I guess that answers my next question I had down. I said, coaches go through, help us get over the obstacles to help us that is limiting our success.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That is okay. That is so true. So we have Ms. Deborah watching. She says, I love Indian song, Strength, Courage, and Wisdom. It motivates me.
Yeah.
Yes. That is huge, ladies.
That is the song that I have in my head when I coach people, because I could hear it and they can't see it. So I just help them realize what it is.
And here's another thing that's so important about us as coaches. I mean, I do the same thing when people come to me or when they have an idea, they have their business, you know, it's okay. Now I got to get you out of your comfort zone. I mean, you got to do things that you haven't done before. But guess what? I'm going to be alongside of you, helping you, encouraging you. And here's the thing is that coaches, I mean, we believe in them. I mean, we want someone to believe in what we're doing. I mean, like a lot of times we have all these thoughts and everything. Like I said, we're writing stuff down, but we have thoughts that sometimes we don't even know if they're like good thoughts. You know what I'm saying? We don't know like what we're doing, if it's realistic or what we're thinking about. Yeah. But it goes back to the belief, right? I mean, it's almost like we wanted someone to sign off and believe in us. Like we're trying to believe in our ideal. But when we have someone else believe in us, do you think it makes it more real? Do you think it brings life to it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of times we just have stuff in our head. We get bogged down by, I'm not really sure, or, you know, I'm scared. I'm scared to kind of put that out there. But it takes a coach to help you bring that out. And this is one thing I want people to understand. Just because, you know, I may come across as having a very nice and empathetic demeanor doesn't mean I'm not going to push your butt. I am going to push you to the limit, because if I believe in you so much, I can see it. And then once you get a glimpse of it, let's go. Let's go.
Yes, let's go. Because, you know, for me, a lot of you that already coach with me know that accountability is huge. And I think a lot of people think that, why I got to give you that? Why I got to tell you that? Because like they know for me, you have to give me your 3 top things that you are working on. And you know, the reason why I do that, because that's an accountability. If I just say, okay, what are you working on today? And then you'll be like all over the place. I say, no, I need for you to narrow down 3 things that you are working on. And then I need you to report back to me at the end of the day. And a lot of people think, oh, that's kind of overboard. But do you realize how well that's working?
Yeah.
That is working so well because people have to be accountable.
Yeah.
And that's our job to hold them accountable, because if we don't hold them accountable, we can't help them reach their goals and their plans and their dreams.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And the other thing I want them to realize is that it's not just me working alone. Like there's a team. There is a team. I use the example of my son was a very elite swimmer. And so he got to a point where he was a few seconds off of Olympic trial times before he quit. That's another show. So, but just think about this. This is how many coaches he had. He had a coach that he had a main coach that oversee that would oversee everything that he did, watched his times, watched everything. He had another coach that was a spinoff of that coach who only worked on speed with him. There's another coach that only worked on a technique, butterfly technique, strokes with him. And then there was another coach that only worked on turns with him. And then once you combine all of those, the head coach would then come and say, here's how to decrease your times. You need to do this, 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 and this, because he got feedback from these other coaches. So I say that because I have a coach and they're telling me how to coach my people. They have a coach who's telling them how to tell me how to coach my people. It's just a domino effect, and people don't realize that. I'm not doing this alone. I have other people that help. It's collaboration.
It's collaboration. Look, I'm gonna have to do a woo woo on that, because she made a good point. We are seeing that you don't have to do this thing alone. She made a good point of how all those coaches equaled up into one team.
Yep.
And now, because your son had all those coaches, look how fast he got. Look at his time. Look where he was an Olympic.
Yeah.
Because of the coaches that he had. Now, need he not have those coaches? Not to say he probably wouldn't have got there, but he might have would have got there just a little bit slower.
Yeah. Or the you know what I say? I'm having I know this is a shameless plug, but I'm having a time management workshop. And I start off by just inviting people by saying, we have such strong willpower, but sometimes your willpower gets depleted.
Oh, yes.
So you need accountability. Accountability comes in as a boost. And all it does is boost you to, be in front of what you're great for and your
greatness.
Yeah, it's just greatness being highlighted.
Yes, because I always say too, you know what, we talked about, last year we were talking about, preparing ourselves for 2021. And I was talking about, what's your why? And a lot of people, what's my why would either maybe mimic off of somebody else or just couldn't really understand like how to define what their why is. And I always said, make your why seem like you're going on a road trip. And what are some of the things that you would pack in your road trip? And one of the things was like your GPS. And that's kind of how coaching is. Coaching is almost like your GPS, because when you get off track,
I love that.
The coach got to give you a detour to get right back on. And that's what coaching does, because we want to make sure you stay the course, and really and truly, as we're coaching you, you're coaching us as well. Would you agree?
Yeah. I say that a lot. I'm like, it's always in the reverse. Like, what am I learning from you? Because I can teach you something, but what am I learning? And one of my favorite commercials is, I don't even know if they play it anymore, but this couple was having a new baby. And they were like, what are you going to teach your baby? And they said, well, I'm going to learn patience from them. And it's so true. It's so true. Yeah. You just have to be aware at all times, because things are being thrown at you. And if you're not paying attention, they will go right by you.
Right, absolutely. And, even earlier we were talking about even some of the famous leaders had coaches and mentors. I mean, we talked about a movement, and all of you missed it earlier, the celebration of our Black history. We were talking about, how important it is, for those leaders who had coaches to help them lead along the way.
Yep.
And how that's an important movement because of their message. They didn't want to just help themselves, but they wanted to help other people to be able to get to their greatness, to flourish, to make a change. Because what you do is actually impacting the lives of other people. We always say, our stories is something that someone else needs to hear. And how do we get our story out of us if we can't have someone help guide and coach us? Even if you're writing a book, you have a coach that helps you sit down and give you the ideas of how to write your book.
Yep.
Right, because that's your story that you get out of. You come to networking, your networking ninja is going to coach you on how to get your systems and everything in place. So then guess what? When you come, you're going to be ready before the season and not in the season. You're going to be ready instead of having to get ready. And just like you, Katrina, I mean, when it comes to, hey, how to break the corporate rules, and listen, she knows, you got to know who you're talking to. You got to know who your ideal client is. This is the avatar queen.
I love building avatars.
Yes. And a lot of people, they shy away from avatars because they were like, an avatar, I know who I want to talk to. I know who, but do you really?
Nope.
Do we really know? That is a coaching. That is a coaching. Like, how do I know that I'm talking to the right person? How do I know that my products and services is going to reach the person? Because let me tell you, if you do posting and ain't nobody responding, guess what? You just did that for yourself.
Yeah.
You're talking to yourself. If nobody else is talking back to you, then you're talking to yourself. So then the next question is you have in your mind, like, what went wrong? Why won't nobody respond to my post? Why won't nobody, click on my stuff? Because now it takes you to a whole nother level where, listen, maybe I need to seek a content coach. Maybe I need to seek a social media coach. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because people say, and here's the crazy thing is people say, oh my God, I make thousands and thousands. We've talked about that, thousands of dollars on the internet or on social media.
Yeah.
Then you go and say, okay, today I'm going to put a post on there. And then you put your post on there and you hear, you hear crickets. And then you're saying, how are people doing this? Believe me, they're having coaches to coach them on what to say, the keywords, the search engine optimization. They are having people to say, here, if you want people to look at your stuff, you got to have some right keywords. Do you know how to find those words?
Yep. It's message. It's all in the message.
It's all in the message. But sometimes we think our message is the message. Would you agree?
Yeah. Yeah, but it's not. And a lot of time our message comes from us. It doesn't come from what they want. When I wrote the book, I had an avatar. I had to talk to her the entire time I wrote that book so that she could resonate with that. So she could pick up the words that I was trying, not what I have to say, because I got a whole bunch of words to say. But how is she going to receive that? And that's when you talk about, you put your message out there, you do these different things. I coach people all the time on how to save their money because they see shiny stuff and they want to run towards it. They see all the beautiful marketing material that people put out. They see all of this, the flyers, the sponsorships. They see all of that and they're like, I got to do all of that before I can run my business, or it's going to boost my business. And then they spend so much money.
So much.
And their message is wrong. So nobody buys it. And now they've spent all of this money because their message was wrong. And they don't optimize on it because their message was wrong. So what I coach them to do is make sure that message is right before you start buying one thing. Don't buy anything. It took me a while. When I wrote my book, I didn't even have a title for it. That's why my coach told me not to title it. She's like, do not title this book until we are almost at the end. I know everybody has these titles in their head that they want to do. No, don't title it because you want to see what it starts to shape out to be. I didn't title my company until this year because the message that stuck with everybody was the corporate breakup. It wasn't what I talked about earlier when I first started. It's what I talked about now, is that was resonate with people. So that's the message I have.
And here's a cool thing. I'm just going to piggyback off of you, what you said, like, there's a lot of people that have all these things, that says, you need this, you need that, you need this. Okay, we need to stop and think about their message got you, right? Yep. Their message got you. So it meant that whatever they had in the message was enough to reel you in. So just think about your business. I always say when you get ready to run a campaign, what's your slogan? What's your slogan going to be?
Yeah.
People don't think about it like that. But when they put that information out there to get you, to entice you, to say that you got to have it, and then you get it, and then you think that they're going to be the ones that's going to put it all together for you. And it doesn't happen that way because now you realize now I got to do it. I got to do the work. All they did is, supply the stuff, and now I got to do it. But it was their message they got you. So you have to incorporate the same kind of message to get your people, right? But somebody had to help craft them to do that.
That's a great point. That is a great point.
Yes, girl, that's that woo-woo stuff. Okay, so listen, for those who are joining in, this is Talk to Me Tuesday, where we share helpful networking tips to help you grow your business. And I have the amazing guest with me, Miss Katrina Rowdy. And we are talking about coaching. We're not selling you, but we're trying to talk to you about coaching, why we need to have a coach. So this is the year that we need to have coaches in our lives. We need to have a coach in our life to take us to the next level.
Yep.
We do. We need to have a coach to help us be able to pull out this stuff that's inside of our head to get us out of our, what did I call it? Our blind spot, to help us identify what that is, help us to get out of our comfort zone. A lot of times, we get scared, but guess what? It's like when you go places with somebody, then it takes a little the ease off of it. Don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're not scared anymore. That's what a coach do. The coach is going to walk alongside of you. So guess what? You ain't going to be scared no more. It's like, okay, what's the worst can happen to me? I'm going to go in here and do this. But guess what? When you go do your lives, when you do your one-on-ones, your coach is there with you. Today I'm going live. Okay, you tell me when you're going live, and I'm going to make sure I'm on your live with you. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about right there. That's that woo-woo stuff I'm talking about right there.
Here's the other thing too. So a lot of people will seek out these very high-end coaches, and maybe they'll pay a lot of money for them. And then they get plopped into a program, and you're in that program with maybe 10 other people. So there's no one-on-one, and you're still seeking something. But, what I will say is that, again, you have to look and you have to interview the person that you're going to be dealing with. How much time am I going to get with them? Like, have a schedule. What am I going to get from them? Because being an entrepreneur is a lonely sport. You better get somebody you can run with because it's lonely. And so Tandra doesn't feel lonely because she's a networker. She knows how to put herself in an abundance of people, but a lot of people don't. They don't know that. You have people who want to jump on and say, I want to be on TV. I want someone to interview me. But these are the same people who are afraid to do an interview, or they won't even do a Facebook Live. You want to get on TV? Get on Facebook Live first. Let the Sandman come in and pull you off the stage first before you get that live appearance.
You know what I have to say? I'm not trying to throw a plug, but I have to say with our WIN membership program, that's one of the things I love, because that platform allows you to go on there and practice.
Yes.
It allows you to go on there and practice. And because we're such a small community in that group, it allows you to go in there and practice. And then guess what? We are your sister circle. So we can say, hey, you know what, that sounded good, or that sounded, maybe you can tweak this a little bit, but it gives you practice, and you can practice in that group as many times as you want to before you actually do your first live. Yeah.
There's a funny story. I did this video. I thought it was great. I was going to put it out there. And I shot it by one of my friends first to see, what he thought of it. He's a digital media person. And he was like, and I thought it was good. I had all the good points. I was sounding good. And he was like, that was horrible. He said, first of all, it's too long. He was like, you didn't sound like yourself. It sounded like you were reading something. Were you reading something? I'm like, yeah, I was reading. He's like, no, that doesn't, don't, so it was one of those things where, because we were in this group together, I was able to go out there, to your point, go out there and practice first. And then now I know how to do a video in 1 minute. I know how to use my own voice. I know how to use my own silliness in there, because after you post it, that's where you practice. Just keep practicing. You can't be great if you don't practice.
Right. Look, practice. Look, I'm not going to say practice makes perfect. Someone said practice makes improvement. So listen, before we even got started, listen, I was practicing. I was in here in my mirror with my pen saying, okay, this is Tandra Price. So I'm practicing as well, because I'm like, I know what I'm supposed to, it's different when you're doing it and then it actually hit live and you see all these people, and then you be like, the very first time you get criticism, or somebody's like, why you do that? Then everybody gets like, I'm not never doing this again.
Yeah.
But you can't stop right there, because they don't determine your destiny. They don't determine where you're going. Everybody had to start somewhere.
Yep.
At some point, even when they started coaching, when they got their coach, they had to start somewhere at some time, at some point, to make sure that, to get to where you need to be. Miss Deborah says, yes, practice makes improvement. Thank you, Tandra. Yes, I mean, because we can only get better as what we do. You know what I'm saying? As we practice. So listen, first of all of those who are watching, if you have a coach, I want you to put one into the chat. I mean, because you got to talk to me. That's what this is. It says, let's talk. It's Talk to Me Tuesday. So let me know if you have a coach. Not that we're trying to sell you, but we just want to know if you have a coach. And listen, every coach has a different niche. You see what I'm saying? So you want to find the coach that fits your niche that can help you deliver your message and get yourself out. But if you have a coach, please somebody just, put in there a 1 if you have a coach. If you're watching this on the replay, put #1 in replay to just let us know whether you have a coach or not.
Yeah.
Because one of the things, again, with us as we collaborate, we want to be able to help one another. Now, I do my every Thursday, my Conversations Over Coffee, where we have amazing guests that come and, I try to pour into you as much as I can. And that's considered coaching. That is considered coaching. It's not one-on-one coaching, but it is coaching because you're actually hearing stories from things that people have had. Here's the cool thing about it. We talked about this earlier that, because of our history, people that have came before us, they've already went through the struggles, so they can tell us now what we need to do in order to, be our greatness. And that's the good thing what it is with coaching. When you get into these things, you have to look and see, like, does this really benefit me? I mean, what they're saying to resonate with me. I feel like everything should resonate with everybody because I do, and I could be wrong, but I think it should, because I always when I listen to somebody talk, I try to put myself in that position because remember I told you, I wake up in the morning, the student, I'm a brand new student coming into your university.
Yep.
Not my university, your university or your classroom. So I'm opening myself up to learning. My cup is never full. My cup is always empty. Because I want to be able to put that knowledge in there. Hey, that's a woo. That's a woo 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 woo.
Here's what's interesting about what you just said. So I spent, if you read my bio, you know that I spent 30 years in corporate, right? And so at one point, it gets to a point where you feel like a dinosaur. Like they're bringing in all these new people, they're bringing in all these young people. And even though I was still kind of young compared to my group of people, I still felt like a dinosaur because I'd been there the longest. I knew stuff. And that makes you feel horrible because you're like, I got all this knowledge and they're not even using it. They want to give it to the person because it's cheaper to hire a new person and train them. But when you flip that switch and you go over to an entrepreneur and become a coach, now all of that knowledge I have is worthy. People are looking for that. They are looking for my experience that I had. They are like, oh my God, you've been in there for 30 years. You definitely know something. And so those are the type of people you look for, somebody who's been through it. I don't talk about the corporate breakup just because it came from out the air. I talk about it because I went through it.
You experienced it.
I went through the emotional turmoil that it provided. It was anxiety. It was sleep disturbances. It was anger. It was avoidance, all because I felt out of place. And nobody really talks about that. They talk about when you have a relationship breakup and how in that relationship breakup, people are always coming over with wine and they want to sit back and shape everything you're doing, but it's the same thing. So we got to heal from it.
Oh, you know what? I'm just going to say too, on that note too, I'll tell you, when I had to go, it's a quick story. When I got into being into the sales profession, you know what they gave me? They gave me a list of people to talk to. Okay. And I had to go through that list of people to talk, to try to get a sale. I had a quota. I had to get this sale. And they gave me a list and they was like, okay, call these people. So as I was making these phone calls, people were like, no. Take me off your call list. I mean, I don't know if anyone has ever experienced. If you've experienced that, please put a 2 in there. So I was like, I had to change the game. I mean, people was like, no matter how nice my voice was, I came across, they could not connect with me. Just couldn't connect with me. And that's what a lot of salespeople have problems with today. It's not really the product. It's how do I connect with this person? So I had to go through that. It's like you said, anxiety, back then it was, I paid only on commission. So that was anxiety myself because if I didn't get some sales, I wouldn't get paid.
Yeah.
So, I had to learn that. I had to learn the steps of saying, okay, listen, how can you connect with me? How can you understand kind of what's going on? And I had to train myself. And listen, I went to classes, I got online, I followed my mentors. And when I started figuring this thing out, girl, you couldn't stop me, because now I kind of knew how to do it. Okay, Deborah's saying, I have a personal coach, but I consider you a coach. You and other people that you network with as present networking tips live on Facebook. I'm always working, but I can listen to you and other entrepreneurs as they work. Yes, and give inspiration. Okay. Absolutely. Good. Absolutely. But I say that to say that we had to start from somewhere. And I'm telling you, just like you said, it was lonely. I mean, I was like, everybody said, girl, you can make thousands of dollars in sales. You can make thousands of dollars. So, you listen to some of the famous people, Zig Ziglar, and all these other people that, made tons of money. But if you ever sit and listen to them, how they talked and how they approach things, it's totally different. Yep. It's not pick up and say, hey, you know what is the saying is, you know what, I'm looking for someone to take advantage of our personal plus. Would you be interested in that? Click, I mean, like nowadays they don't even get to finish. You don't even get to finish the call. They don't even get the representative don't even get to finish because they know it. I mean, they know what's coming on the other end.
Because you're a lot like me. We're relationship people. I just don't want to call somebody. I want to foster a relationship. And when I worked in corporate, I was fortunate enough to do that. I was in sales, but my prospecting, because of the size accounts that I worked on what we called major accounts. So some of my clients were like, Discover Card or Saks Fifth Avenue. They were huge. So it takes 3 to 5 years to cultivate that or have them move. So I had time to build a relationship, right? And then I jumped out of that into personal sales. And it was like you said, call this person, call this person, call this person. I'm like, I'm giving away stuff. I'm not asking for any money. And you still hanging up on me. I'm like, what?
They're still hanging up.
Yeah. Or you're staying on the phone too long with them. Well, I like talking to them.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things.
Because let me tell you, when you got on that phone, it was a little phone. I ain't telling my age, but when you did those phone calls, there was a little timer there. And listen, you only had a certain amount of time to get your message across. That's why now listen, like right now, I want you to be able to do your pitch to me within 25 words or less. Right. Because that's really, I'm telling you, if anyone has ever experienced that is the most high stress, high anxiety thing to be a part of.
It is. It's horrible.
It's horrible. It is horrible. So that's what I'm saying. Been there, done that. We know, listen, we know you have to cut it off. We know when you push the elevator, how many seconds you got on the elevator.
You got 30 seconds on the floor. Get that message out, and it better be the right words for me to say, hey,
it better be the right words.
I'm going to get back on the elevator and talk to you.
Yeah, look, I might ride up to the 5th floor with you.
And we're joking about that, but that seriously happens. They're like, hey, tell me more. But you have to give them a message so that they can hold on to what you're saying. It's intriguing enough for them to say, I want more. And it has to be precise enough for them to say, I get it and I want more.
And I want more. Absolutely. So that's what coaching is about. So it's like, I think right now for us to listen, it's time for us to dominate. It's time for us to dominate this. If we are not, this is the year to dominate. We have to be in a space where nothing can hold us back. We are the leaders. We are taking control because, next year, everything is going to be different. You know what I'm saying? Just because it's, listen, all I can say is we have to dominate this, and we have to get the right tools, the right resources to help us get to the next level. And one of those things is going to require each and every one of us to have a coach, a mentor, a sounding board. We have to. And I just encourage you so wholeheartedly to find that person that can get you to the next level.
Yeah. I mean, 2020 should have taught you so much.
So much.
If it didn't, go back and revisit it. Go back and revisit and say, because they talk about the second pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
We don't know what that is.
We don't know what it is.
Well, we're still not over the first one, but they're talking about the second pandemic, and we don't know. So just prepare yourself.
Right. We need to be ahead of the season instead of being inside the season. We need
Yeah.
to already be ready. I can't say that enough. I say that all the time. Be ready be ahead of the season, not in the season. And how do we do that? We're laying down resources. We're dropping these golden nuggets down and saying, hey, this is the path to get you there. And
Yeah.
not only that, I mean, now that February is our Black History Month, they again have given you the path to get there. So just like you said, Katrina, we have to have, when I said, was it the messengers, you said, no, it's the listeners.
Yeah, it's the listeners. You need to be talking to that avatar.
Okay, real quick, before we go,
okay,
please break down an avatar for those who listen. You think it's simple. It looks simple, but it ain't as simple as you think. Just kind of go give us a run through of what they should look for in an avatar. Just a little snippet.
Okay. So a customer avatar is really your ideal client. And a lot of times people will call it your ideal client, they'll call it a target client, your target market, whatever. So within that target market, there are certain people that will buy from you. And the reason that they're going to buy from you is because their message is your message. It's the same thing. I like to say you got to use the pastor's approach, right? So when you go to church, for all you churchgoers, when you go to church, you listen to the sermon and all of a sudden it hits you and you're like, oh my God, he's talking to me. Almost as if you want to put your hood on and say, he is talking to me. That is what you are doing for your avatar. So you have to tell your story in such a way that it resonates with them. And what that means is that you have to be able to identify if they're male or female. You have to be, very precise who's buying from you. You have to give them a name. You have to give them an age. You have to know if they have children, if their children are going to college, if they're young children. You have to know how tall they are, what do they like reading, where do they hang out in social media, where do they buy from, what stores do they buy from. You have to be very precise. It's almost like you're stalking a person, but no, you're not. This is a person you created. A lot of times that avatar may look like you, but not exactly you. And so you have to create it in such a way that when I'm talking to the audience, I have a screenshot a couple of things right now where I've talked to some people, like groups of people, and gotten text messages back that says, oh my God, you were talking to me. These things happened to me and you mentioned it today. And I'm just amazed by them. So I screenshot them because I'm like, is that real? Because you don't think it's real. When someone is talking, when you're talking to the right person, you know how when they say you know when you're ready for stuff, like if you're getting married, oh, I just knew he was going to propose to me. I felt like it. I felt that feeling. I know when I'm in a good season in my business, I feel that feeling. It's the same thing with your avatar. When you're talking to the right person, you're going to get that feeling because they're going to have eye contact with you and they're going to be holding on to every word. And that's the person that you go talk to, because that person is helping you build your income. They're helping you build your business. They're helping you because you're talking to them. And there's more than one. A lot of times people get caught up on chasing everybody. All money, not good money.
If you can't sell to everybody.
No, you can't. You can take some of them in, because you need to practice. But after that practice is over, you're just like, I'm talking to one person. I'm talking to one. That is what a customer avatar is. And I have nailed it in talking to people and understanding who is going to respond and how they're going to respond, because I've already identified them. They've already talked to me, so I know how they're going to respond.
Yes. Listen, she dropped that. So if you didn't write it down, she dropped that. So I'm going to have you look, if you're watching the replay, you need to hit me #replay, but she dropped that information and helping you identify. And listen, we think, listen, I do an avatar every time I get ready to launch a new product. Okay, I do, because every one of my products is going to tear to a different audience. Not everybody needs that particular product. And she broke it down to you exactly how you do it. So this has been good, girl. I love Talk to Me Tuesday. I love Talk to Me Tuesday every Tuesday, because you know what? We're dropping these golden nuggets and we drop these helpful hints, to help people grow and elevate in their business. So before we go, Miss Katrina, how can they reach you? How can they connect with you?
You can always go to KatrinaRoddy.me and it'll give you like my video business card. It'll tell you how to reach me. But I am having a workshop on time management this month. So look for that. It's probably in LinkedIn already. It's probably on Facebook, but we'll definitely make sure you get in contact with that. It's on time management. It's called Time Gone Wild because we need accountability.
Time gone wild. Time gone wild. Look, that's it. Look, next time I'm gonna have me some music bump. I'm gonna be bumping some music too.
Call me back when you get the music.
Okay. So as always, we do Talk to Me Tuesday, every Tuesday at noon p.m. Central Time. How you can get a hold of me and be able to work with me and get more amazing tips, please go to, and I have it in the link, please go to bit.ly link Win a Lead. That is my membership program when you get me one-on-one coaching. And as well, I have a training coming up. It is called Get Linked. It's a LinkedIn training that's going to be happening on February the 27th. So for all of those who have not been using LinkedIn, honey, you are missing out. You're missing out. You need to make sure that you join in and get linked to that to that workshop. And as always, make sure that you join us every Thursday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Central Time for our ladies networking event. We have an amazing guest coming out. Her name is Karen Cherry, and she is amazing. She's going to be dropping some more nuggets. But until then, I think we didn't top it all up, didn't we? We did a whole bunch of talking today.
We did.
So if you are watching the replay, please hit #replay for us and let us know your thoughts on our conversation today, because we are here to help you. That is what Talk to Me Tuesday is, to help you with helpful networking tips and help you grow your business. Until the meantime, listen, I will talk to you later, Miss Lady. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, ladies, for joining.
Thank you all for joining us and giving your input. I always forget to say that. Thank my audience. And I want to thank Mrs. Deborah Washington, too, because she follows me. She helps me. Listen, ladies. Oh, wait a minute. I know what I want to say. Before we leave today, this is Black History Month. So I want to make sure that we are supporting each and every one of listen, we talked about empowerment, so let's empower. This is Deborah Washington. She does some amazing things. She's going to have some Valentine's stuff coming up, and I want to make sure that everybody supports her. When you go out and support one of our amazing ladies, please put #I support, because we want to make sure that we support, our entrepreneurs. Just like we want people to support us, we have to support them as well. So please make sure that we do that. She has some amazing, amazing stuff. So now I'm going to say until next Tuesday, listen, I will talk to you then. Have a great day.
Bye. Thank you.